No one has launched a big PR campaign to get these people signed up because of the problems with the federal website. We are about to launch a big PR campaign, and that, I think, is going to persuade a lot of people to sign up.
I would simply point out that the Harvard poll says only 20% say they're going to sign up. And in California, no, definitely or probably. And so far in California, it's only 20%. So your 39% figure.
We haven't had a PR campaign.
All right, so it's marketing now. That was one of the architects of Obamacare claiming it'll get young people to sign up as long as you get a good PR push working here.
Saying once the administration gets the website fixed, it can then focus on promotion, and that will make all the difference.
What about that, Brad Blakeman, former Deputy Assistant to President George W. Bush? Chris Kofinas is the former Chief of Staff to West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin. Gentlemen, good day to both of you. It's all PR. It's all marketing. Spell the name right. Today's first question will go to my esteemed colleague, Allison Lane Cameron.
I didn't know you were setting me up for that. Chris, let's start with you. Do you agree with Dr. Emanuel that it's just the reason young people are not signing up in the droves that were predicted was because there's just been bad PR about the Affordable Care Act?
Well, I think it's definitely been a factor. I would argue that probably the biggest factor is the timing of it. You know, I think we all remember when we were that age, you tend to kind of push things off to the very last minute. I mean, I think you have about 3 months or so left for the open enrollment. You're going to see, I think, the numbers change in that period of time. Now, one thing I think to keep in mind in that Harvard study, you had about a quarter of people saying they weren't going to, they weren't interested in signing on to Obamacare, a quarter that said they were, but 50% were on the fence. So I think, a PR push, if you want to call it that, would help.
I mean, that study shows you right now where the minds of young people are. Brad, what do you think of this? Is it just PR and marketing?
Absolutely not. Look, this is a systemic problem with Obamacare. It's not the implementation, it's the core material facts of Obamacare that the youth are rejecting. Look, if it wasn't for bad news, Obamacare wouldn't make news, and no amount of PR is going to change what has already been the first impression of Obamacare. And the youth realizes it costs too much, they don't feel they need it, and it's an obligation where if you can pay a $95 fine to get out of an $1,800 obligation, and then if you do get sick, you can sign up without penalty. It's a no-brainer. You don't need it, don't sign up for it. But the whole scheme is you need young people, you need the volume of young people in order to pay for those who need care now. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, Chris, the one thing that every young person in the country knows about Obamacare is that it has a lousy website. I mean, that is the one universal truism that everybody could tell you. But beyond that, what is in it for 20-year-olds to sign up?
Well, and listen, I think we all can agree that the rollout has not been good, and it clearly, hurt, I think the impression and the perception of Obamacare. I think that's a fact. That being said, in terms of what's in it, you're talking about preventive care. You're talking about, caps if you end up getting sick or, unfortunately, really sick.
Yes, catastrophic. I mean, I think you make a great point. For catastrophic illness, obviously everybody needs insurance. But what about Brad's point, which is that beyond if you're just well and you're generally a healthy 20-something-year-old, why go through the rigmarole?
Well, I think in terms of where you're talking about the preventive care, being able to get, birth control or other types of, assistance, there's a lot of elements there that allow you to basically, listen, when we were that age, we all kind of ignore.
Well, you got to overhaul the whole system for birth control?
No, but I think when you're talking about preventive care, you're talking about limits on lifetime caps. You're talking about making sure that the insurance companies provide coverage for certain things, as well as, let's be honest, when you're talking about the various plans, people have a choice. They don't have to get a gold plan. They can get a bronze plan, which is catastrophic, basically a catastrophic plan.
Okay.
And that allows people to kind of budget accordingly.
Just bring it back full circle here, because the idea for this segment was about marketing and PR. Now, Brad, I can't think of a story in America that has not been on any website, every newspaper, and every TV station for the past 3 months now than Obamacare. You could even make the case that it's been out there for 3.5 years in the build-up to October 1.
Absolutely. They've had more paid and earned media than any story probably in the history of any government program. And again, they started out with a failure. And young people are not going to be emboldened to sign up for this when they're all techies. They realize how easy it is to navigate the internet. They know that Facebook gets 300 million hits a day in Google, so they have no confidence. They have no confidence in this president. They believe they've been lied to, and they don't feel they need it. So what amount of PR rollout is going to convince them to buy something that's too expensive and they don't need?
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Brad, listen, I love Brad's hyperbole, but did anyone expect him to say anything different? I mean, at the end of the day, it's really simple.
The facts are the facts,
Wait a
Chris.
second.
I'm not making this up.
We will know we will know by March 31st whether the assumptions that young people will sign up happens or not. It's really that simple. The administration
but this is what you said about November 30th.
The administration has.
It's always
well, no,
will wait down the road.
No, the administration has 3 months. 3 months where both, I think, with a PR push, as well as I think young people coming to terms with the fact that it's a good thing that they can actually afford and have, you know, decent health care coverage
but Chris, what
in
about
order
Brad's
to
point?
prevent.
What about Brad's point that the penalty, if they don't do it, is not so punitive that as their deductible might be? So it's a sort of disincentive.
You know, that I would say is the big challenge. I agree with that. I mean, the first year with the penalty being at $95, that I think is going to be, I think, some of the hard sell that the administration is going to make. And it's really simple. Either the numbers are going to pan out or not. If the numbers pan out, then Brad, I will have no doubt, will admit that he was wrong.
Brad, last word.
I'm not going to be wrong because the system is fundamentally flawed. There's no way there's an incentive enough for the youth with any PR campaign to convince them to buy something they can't afford and something they think they will never use.
Brad Blakeman, Chris Kofinas, great to see you guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Thank you.